Hello everyone, welcome back to Hero Wars Guide. I'm coming back quicker than usual after my last one because we got another game data update. This one has updates to the event schedule as well as details for the first part of this season of seasons. So we're going to take a look at the schedule and then move on to the rewards and the tasks for the season. And we'll spend a minute at the end talking about the value of the golden ticket. Alright, so first up, we're looking at the schedule, and the Great Storm has been added according to the original schedule advertised on the official channels. So a bit of a last-minute update, but they did get it in there for us. That'll be starting in just a few hours here in the West. Well, I suppose a few hours anywhere, but it'll be this evening in the West. Then, in addition to the Great Storm, we got a look at some of the next events that will be coming as well. And there's a partial overlap with these lore events and all of the single day events that are in place. We are going to have the one-day version of the Time of the Fearless. This is a relatively low-cost event. It almost always accompanies a 4X sale, and I believe it'll be inside of the lore event, but not the Great Storm. Yeah, so the Great Storm will end. There'll be one day of all of the lore stuff, and then the Time of the Fearless will kick in for one day starting on the 5th in the West. And then also overlapping the Time of the Fearless and some of these lore events, we're going to have the new revamped Emerald Waterfall kicking in again. So it looks like this is kind of shaping up to be a nice little bonus for spending emeralds in the early parts of the month. I think every month for the last couple months now we've had this kind of on the early side of the calendar. And since it does overlap Time of the Fearless for its single day, then it will most likely also have that 4X sale, which is nice. If you do buy emeralds, then you'll get the bonus from Emerald Waterfall as well. That said, with all this season ticket stuff going on, probably fewer people than normal should be buying emeralds, because the tickets are generally speaking a better value than even the 4X sale. So anything you're spending on the tickets should be coming out of your 4X Emerald budget. And given that they've now seemed to increase that season cost to $60 a month, for a fair number of people that leaves little or nothing in the Emerald budget. Alright, with that said, that's probably a good time to jump into the tasks and rewards for the season. Now let's actually look at the tasks first. Since it is only 1 week long, I've got it converted to only be on one screen here. And the one-day tasks are in the top section, 3-day tasks bottom left, and the week-long tasks bottom right. Most of this stuff you would have seen in the stream if you caught it, but nice to see no heroic chest or soul atrium sorts of tasks. I don't think anything in here should be particularly difficult to complete. So probably the main thing to keep in mind out of this portion of the video here is the 4th single day task, in case you are someone who is maybe picking up the ticket outside of the first day. It has historically always been the case that if you complete these tasks while they're hidden from you and you buy the ticket later, you do get the experience sent to you in the mail retroactively. Alright, then moving into the rewards. I've entered these into the bundle calculator of my site, but here they are in the raw form. Some of these are going to get summarized down in the bundle calculator. But at a summary level, I would say that these are pretty underwhelming for a golden ticket season. And if your main interest in the season is going for just one totem and you're going to skip one of the seasons, this is probably the one to do it. The reward values aren't very high. I think I saw people say that Hero Wars Official had listed them at 100k emerald value. I really have no idea how they got to that valuation. My number is nowhere near that, even I think if you use the fully inflated values for all of these things. And many of the types are not particularly interesting as well. You've got a few of these gold entries, and I guess this maybe is displaying weird here, but this is 8 million gold. Kind of uninteresting. The hero experience, completely worthless. There's a bunch of Titan potions, the Titan seals, but it's the original Titan seals. You've got some item fragments. Chalice of Primordials is a pretty good one, but the other one, this Echidna's Dark Hex, is basically a waste of time. Almost no heroes actually need this stuff, and you pick them up from the tower. So you're probably never actually going to raid for these. We've got Ascension stuff, but it's only the base crystal, which, for me at least, is completely worthless at this time. I've got enough to level up almost all the heroes in the game that I don't care about, and it's really only good for completing that task to level a glyph 30 times in the Ascension to Asgard event. And even the grand prize of the Super Titan, it's just Titan Souls. Now that all of the Super Titans are in the summoning circle, none of them are all that hard to get. It's really just more Titan Potion and gold, which, again, don't really care about too much. So, that leaves some of the item fragments, skin stones. It's not nothing, but it's nowhere near as interesting as most of the golden tickets have been. There's also some weird stuff about it, like on these seals, with it being the classic seals. They've got attack and defense in here, but then balance is in here twice for some reason. So some of the amounts are kind of goofy. I saw someone, I think it may have been Blackfish, suggest that they just took one of the seasons and cut it in half, and these are the kind of starting level rewards, and that seems like a reasonable theory. Alright, so then to take a look at this on a numeric perspective, I'll pull up the ticket in the bundles section here of my website. It'll be down towards the bottom here. You can see Cosmic Season. It's only the $15 cost, which I think is $14.99, but in any case, it's going to be somewhere in that region. So here under this login, I don't have many resource markdowns as overrides to the default values. I will have gold set to nothing and hero experience set to nothing, and some of the Titan resources partially marked down, but not heavily. And still, relative to a 4x sale, the value is, anything over 100 is slightly better. But many of the season tickets come in at closer to 300 or 350. So 200 is a little disappointing. And then also, if you were to come in here yourself and apply the markdowns that might make sense to where you're at in the game, like really, if I'm looking at this purely for myself rather than what makes sense for the general public, I'd have a lot of the Titan stuff marked very severely down or set to nothing, and this would probably be 30k or 25 or something. So if you come to the site yourself, apply some of your own resource overrides that may be relevant to where you're at in the game, this thing will give you your own custom number. I will say this isn't factoring in the totem. Other than these archaeologist tools are in here, but the value assigned is just from the Forgotten Treasury event. Most of that board is a copy and paste from what we saw there, other than the 3 grand prizes. They replaced Chaos Particles with the Totem Fragment and actually cut down the other 2, which was a little strange. So, I guess if you're to add a third of a totem to this total, then that could have a pretty significant impact on the value that you see from this thing. The season reward is quite low on its own, but maybe if you've got every single totem in the game maxed out, then technically speaking, you can exchange the summoning sphere for, I believe it's 200,000 emeralds. So a third of another totem would be an additional 66,000 emeralds of value here. But otherwise, if you don't have every totem maxed out, then you might assign a different value than 200,000 to a single totem fragment. But anyway, I hope this gives you enough information so you can apply your own thinking based on your own individual situation, and just kind of use this as a baseline to get you there. All right, I think that's everything I've got for today. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you again next time.